Okay, so we're going to do x is less than 9. So I'm going to put some numbers here, 10, 11, and 12. Back here, I'm going to put 8, 7, and 6. Always least to greatest, going left to right. I'm going to put an open circle because there's no solid line. Open circle, it's saying that we're going to shade to the left because letter, inequality number. So we're going to shade this way. So hopefully that's what you got. You get the same thing, pretty much the same labels. Make sure you do have some labels. Don't just put 9 and shade one way. Okay, then you're going to get points taken off. Okay, so we do the same thing over here. On the second one, we'll put 0 in the middle, 1, 2, 3, and then down here, -1, -2, -3. And then we're going to put a closed dot on 0 because it was a solid line there. And it says shade to the left. Now you can check these by posing the question. Pick something on the shaded region of the line and see if it works out. So like this one that we're working on right now, is -2 less than or equal to 0? Yep. Over here we picked 0. Is 0 greater or equal to -2? Yes. And then over here, 6. Is 6 less than 9? Yes. And then 5 greater than 3? Yep. Okay, so that's the process in graphing. Okay, so let's look at this one right here. Example 3, graphing an inequality. It says, what is the graph of 4 is greater than or equal to b? Now the first thing you should notice is that it's number inequality letter. So we want to really rearrange that. Well, we can rearrange pretty simply. We're just going to write the b on this side, put the 4 on this side. Write everything that's there but the inequality. Okay, if there's a -4, then this would be negative, but it was positive up here. Okay, it says the arrow is pointing towards the b. So if you do that, all you have to do is put the arrow pointing to the b, and then the equal sign goes underneath. Now you have just transformed this to letter inequality number. So when you go to make your line, you're going to have 4, put the 5, put a 6, back here put a 3, put a 2, and put a solid dot at 4, and then it's saying shade to the left. So we're going to shade to the left. And again, test it out. Is 2 less than or equal to 4? Yep, that's right. So it's just a real quick fix. You just rewrite it, but you need to make sure the arrow is pointing to what it was originally pointing to. So in this case it's pointing to the B, so down here it has to point to the B. Okay, example 4. Go ahead, pause it, and do this one right here. Okay, so as we go in this one, we have what is the graph of n is greater than -6. That one's already letter inequality number. So we're just going to go ahead and draw our number line. Nothing fancy. Let's put -6. Let's put -5. Remember, it's got to go up. -4. Down here we're going to put -7, -8. So these are actually the larger the negative number, the smaller it's getting. We're going to put an open dot or open circle at -6, and it's saying shade to the right. And again, pick a number in this shaded region, even if it's not something you have. I know that if I keep going this way, I'll reach 0. Is 0 greater than -6? Yeah. So there's your graph. Okay, problem number 4, represent the inequality of the graph. So we want to write the inequality from what they gave us. So as we look at this one, I'm going to go ahead and write these up. They gave us a dot here. They're going to say, alright, we have 0, 1, 2. They had -2, -3, -4. And they're shading this way. Okay. So go ahead and see if you can do that. I'll put the others up as we go through and while you're writing that down. The first one, let's take a look at that, see what you got. You had a closed dot at -1 and we're shading to the right. So you pick a letter of choice, let's say X. If you pick something else, that's fine. We want X to be greater than, so the arrow is pointing to the right where we shaded, or equal to because we had a solid dot. And then we're at -1. So right there's our inequality. Okay, B, if you have already done this, you should have something like A. Okay, we're shading to the left, so it's an arrow pointing to the left. No solid line because it's an open, and then 4 is the number we're at. And then the last one, T, we're shading to the left. It's open, so no solid line, and then we're at -3. So it's that simple. You just decide put the letter first, which way are we pointing, and then write the number that's there with it, and then make that under a solid line underneath if it's a closed dot. Okay, last problem here, example 6, writing the real world inequalities. It says, what inequality describes the situation? Be sure to define a variable. So as we look at question A, it says BT&T offers a data plan starting at $25.99. So let's define a variable. We're going to say, let's use B to represent the BT&T. Okay, so we say B, if it starts at $25.99, what's that mean? Well, it means that you're going to be paying $25.99 at minimum. Okay, so that means you're going to be paying like 30 bucks, maybe 40 bucks. So that means our data plan will be greater than this, or possibly if we pick this plan, we're going to pay $25.99. So B is greater than or equal to $25.99. Okay, part B, I want you to write your own inequality. So I want you to take a real life scenario and I want you to write that story problem. It doesn't have to be a paragraph, just can be a quick one-liner, but I want you to pick something from the real world and I want you to write your own little sentence, and then I want you to write your inequality. So it should look like this one, but not using the same thing. I don't want, well, Verizon or somebody else uses. I want you to come up with something that's out in the real world. Okay, so again, on the discussion board on Edmodo. Okay, we made that change to Edmodo. Hit me up there if you have any questions, or hit up Twitter and let me know. Have a good evening.